heard scuttlebutt.
Whoa, yeah.
Oh, the old captain. The old captain. You can't call him young captain. The old captain brings out the old scuttlebutt.
Yeah. Well, one of my CEOs used to call me old man, even when I talked to him today, and he's way older than I am. But anyway, so the scuttlebutt is that Marines off duty on base can now that have the appropriate paperwork and can still carry.
Oh,
That's
this is a great question.
Okay.
So recently it's been brought to our attention that the SecDef has authorized Marines to carry on base. And this brings up a lot of emotions. And
Right.
I'll kick this one off.
Yeah.
I believe if you're 18 or 19 years old and you go fight for your country, you can drink a beer. I also believe you should be allowed to carry a firearm. Now, there's going to be byproducts of this. One, Marines are going to be more comfortable carrying a firearm, and it's probably going to create maybe more of a sense of responsibility to handle a firearm. Because if people are going to get hurt with weapons, it ain't going to be with a rifle. It's always a fucking pistol.
Always.
So I'm down with them carrying pistols, but you have to ask yourself, how many senior enlisteds and commanders are going to fumble this and make this a fucking joke and fuck it up, even though the SecDef has went ahead and put out a policy that he's going to allow them to carry. But I also have to question, with the culture being the way that it is, are we willing to accept that there are going to be some
I'm worried.
there's going to be some scars with this, but I think it's for the greater good.
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is a Marine out in town with his mentality, getting pissed off and having that capability right then and there. Mm-hmm. But that is the only thing that I would worry about, because I know for a fact that there's times in my life, thank God I didn't have a pistol.
Right.
So, either here nor there, I mean, they should be able to do it. Bottom line. No matter what you feel about it, they should be able to do it.
As a young grunt with firearms and living in the barracks, I had to keep my, I believe I had a Remington 1100 20 gauge. And
I had to put mine in the armory.
you had to put them in the armory. And you had to get the battalion commander's signature to
Right.
pull them from the armory. And the reason I didn't like that is because I knew the armorers were fucking with my weapons.
Yeah, right.
Because they're armorers, so
Right,
they like weapons, right? But can you imagine the three of us having lived in infantry barracks before, and the shit that we
Imagine
did,
the parties and the drinking.
and the fights? I mean, we were beating each other's with fire extinguishers, with you name it.
Well, this is my thought from it. So I got a whole different take than what y'all are coming upon. Well, what JC said, I'm kind of more on board with that. I understand the safety issues that y'all are talking about. But so let's talk about like the Fort Hood shootings and things like that.
Pensacola.
Right.
Pensacola.
Okay. So I mean, truly, if we had a base attack CONUS, I mean, how long does it really? So the front gate, bing, bang, boom, they got whatever sidearm they're carrying right now.
You know,
They're gonna be able to push
They're-
that through. Go ahead.
I agree with you 100%. There needs to be some sort of guideline, though, set. For example, if there's beer and alcohol involved, you're not allowed to carry.
You can't.
So for example, right. But
Most
if you're in the
states-
barracks,
most states.
right. If you go into a bar, you're not allowed to carry it. There's all kinds of stuff. But if you have one beer, you need to put that pistol up.
Amen.
Hey, listen,
I do that now. Like I carry every day. I know if I'm going into a bar, my fucking pistol or wherever the fuck I'm going stays in the truck.
I will not.
Because I just know that it's a recipe for
I don't
disaster.
touch and handle firearms and ammunition when I'm drinking.
Nowadays I know that. But when I was a fucking Lance Corporal, give me my pistol and a bottle of Jack Daniels, motherfucker.
there are a lot of based on.
But then again, I ain't like regular people.
So when I was stationed at Pensacola, the new commanding officer came in. He was an 06 Navy captain, and the Navy is extremely adverse to firearms.
Yes.
Right. That's the reason. Generally, the only people in the Navy that are proficient with firearms handling are masters at arms, MAs.
But what about that admiral with that rifle with the optic turned backwards?
That's exactly my
yeah.
point. So when the new CEO came on board, I was at the headquarters staff for the Center for Naval Aviation Technical Training in Pensacola. They had a building there called the Mega Building. The reason it's called the Mega Building is it's the largest building in Northwest Florida. Guess what? They don't have at every entrance an armed sentry.
Really?
They have students on.
I think the staff duty and the staff officer should be armed.
So
They should be.
when the
right?
new, well, here you go. So when the new commanding officer checks in, he has all his staff together and asks for recommendations on how to make it more safe. And I put my little dick skinner in the air, and I was the LDO captain at the time. I said, "Sir, we need to have an armed staff duty officer." And you would have thought
Right.
that I had a dick growing out of my forehead. And I said, whoa, wait, hear me out. Not the students. It needs to be a first-class petty officer or a staff sergeant or a chief or a
Yeah.
gunnery sergeant should be armed.
It's part of the changeover. It's part of
And
it.
he said, well, how would you do that? I said,
Easy.
sir, it's very simple. In the Marine Corps, every battalion OOD, squadron OOD has a firearm. And you have a clearing barrel at the OOD desk. You have 30 or...
I think at the battalion level we should have.
It is. Now, every battalion...
Oh, is it now?
Yes.
It should be.
Yes, when I was a
Wow.
chief warrant officer...
We just had a goddamn duty belt.
No,
Yeah.
now
Ever
the
since
battalion...
I was
OD carries a gun.
carrying a weapon.
Oh, that's good shit. Okay, I didn't know
The
that.
staff duty officer has a clearing barrel. He has a 9
Oh, nice.
and he's got 30 rounds. And everyone annually has to do the deadly force, recertification and all that. I said, sir, it's easy.
Oh, that's good shit.
They thought that I was crazy.
Yeah.
Guess what happened 2 years later?
There's a shooting.
A Kuwaiti fucking flight student
That's right. I seen that on the news.
killed 2.
That's right.
And all they had to,
Was that the base that you were talking about?
Pensacola. And all they had to defend themselves was a government-issued ballpoint pen and a fucking green logbook. And another thing I mentioned to him, because one of the civilian employees, her husband was a federal fireman. And so I was talking to him about the response times, because I was trying to get, before I said, I think we should arm, first-class petty officers, staff duties, staff sergeants, gunnery sergeants, and chiefs, I did the research. And one of the things I learned was the 911 system for NAS Pensacola is truncated, which means when you dial 911 on base at NAS Pensacola, it goes to the Escambia County Sheriff's Department. The Escambia County Sheriff's Department 911 dispatcher then has to call the federal fire department on base.
You're red selling this bad issue.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so do you know when that Kuwaiti, now he was able to legally purchase that pistol in Pensacola, Florida, and there was a prohibition against students having them in the BOQs. But he's an international student. So
So he didn't fall under the rules and regulations?
he didn't follow the fucking regulations. So when that son of a bitch, that Kuwaiti, shot and killed I think it was a flight student officer, an ensign, and then he killed an aircrew candidate student. This was at NATSE, Naval Aviation. Anyway, it fell under my CO's command. When he shot them, on-base security police weren't the first to respond. It was the Escambia County Sheriff's Department.
Because
So
they
they-
got the word.
They got the word first, and they blew through the front gate and went right to schools command, aviation schools command is what it was called.
Yeah.
And they were the first to respond. So had that officer
Been armed.
he could have defended himself.
Look no further than the predatory mindset of sick, evil people. And make no mistake about it, these are evil people. It's a church. It's a daycare. It's a school. It's a place where they know that people cannot.
Well, they're not
protect
going to go
themselves.
attack a fucking goddamn infantry
Right.
battalion on a rifle range.
So the point is, you need to. you need
they
to-
look for soft targets.
You've got to set the condition where every time evil pops its head up, you're able to be there to confront it. Now, you can't confront it right there, but maybe me and Chris catch one. But you know what? Because Millage had a gun, Bo and Seabass make it out of there.
Yeah.
It's got to count for something, man.
You know,
Well,
I
And you've got to leave evil guessing.
For the Marine that lives in the barracks, you have to store your
I was-
personal firearm in the armory, and instead of the battalion commander signing off on you being able to draw it from the armory, the staff duty officer is able to sign off on you being able to draw the weapon from the armory.
well, maybe I think that may be overkill too. If I have a pistol, and let's say I'm Corporal Bodette, and I want to have a pistol, maybe it's something like if you want to have a pistol, that's great. You want it in the barracks, that's great, but it's got to be put in a lockbox.
Yeah, and you want to make it even.
Maybe in your room, but it's got to be in a lockbox.
Okay,
You know, because it's another step till you have to get to it before you do something stupid. You know, maybe something like that. Because I don't want to put my shit in a fucking armory.
Just two things, and I think.
So, but I don't know. I mean, it's a hell of a question because, you know, I mean, but bottom line, they should be able to do it. I think.
Well, because I was not married as a staff NCO and I did not get awarded BAH, I had staff barracks. I could keep my personal weapons in there. Second thing is, I believe if I'm in uniform, especially as an NCO, staff NCO, or officer, I should be able to carry a firearm with me, not because, you know, for any other reason than to protect my unit. You know, because Chris and myself, we didn't have the same kind of lifestyle that y'all had day to day. You know, we may be working in an office, but those are where those active shooter situations occur. I mean, it could occur out there on the range with y'all, but everyone's armed.
Right.
You know?
But there's got to be like a no tolerance bullshit on this. If you catch fucking jackass out there doing the cowboy shit,
Revoked.
you're done.
Drunker than Otis on Andy Griffith.
You're done. Make it an office hours offense.
Just like you would.
If you're being a jackass, and you know, hold them accountable. That ain't a fucking toy. Something like that. I mean, there needs to be fucking shit, you know, to where the only reason they clear that leather, you know, is when they're putting it up or when they have to kill a bad guy. No, once again,
Look no further than the fucking UK. That's it. There's my answer.
I mean, look at the first thing Nazi Germany did is disarm their people.
It's something that
First thing they did.
I would be willing to die over that.
Yeah. You know, if you want to take all the guns away from us, you know, again, those are the people that suck dick with their butthole.
So just like the flag of Gonzales in Texas, come and fucking take it.
That's it.
Because I'm going to give it to you both barrels.
I will guarantee you that most of the people that are going to be against this will be the senior staff NCOs. Okay?
Oh,
They'll be like, oh, no, we can't trust them, do they? No, sir, this will be, no. And listen, and they're going to say, they're going to bullshit these people. They claim it's experience with their fucking 3 B billets that they did. You know?
I'm with Bo on that. I'm with
They're
Bo on
B
that.
billet commandos, you know, that never really stepped foot on the battlefield. Oh, well, yes, I did. I was in Iraq. Yeah, you had a chow hall with a spaghetti bar in it, motherfucker. You weren't in you didn't fucking do shit.